to our first episode of Tell Your Dog We Said Hi. My name is Jamie Shellington, and these are my co-hosts, Karen Barlow and Jen Russell. And if you can't tell by the expression on my face, we are so excited that this episode is starting. We have been talking about this for weeks. This is a show that we've wanted to provide to our amazing dog-loving family and communities. As a resource, a local resource that you can trust for information about dogs, about behavior, about caring for dogs, or even just pets in general. From us, we are professionals in the community, and you'll learn more about us in a little bit, as well as other seasoned professionals in our community that are here serving our pet-loving families and their beloved best friends. So you will eventually, as we continue on with this show, see guests from time to time in all different areas, from veterinarians to boarding facilities, to pet sitters, to people who are focused on nutrition with dogs. So we're really excited to bring this to you guys. Without further ado, as I've kind of done a long-winded introduction, let's get into this first episode. So this is really an introductory episode. I want to make sure, and Karen and Jen all want to make sure that you know who we are. We've been in the community, serving the community in our businesses for many years, but we realize that just because we've been around, it doesn't mean everyone knows who we are. So this episode is really just about who we are, what we do, what we offer to people who have dogs in their homes and share lives with their dogs, and really how we do that as well. You know, what types of services we offer, how we structure those types of things, and where we came from, for Pete's sake. Let's start with that. So I'm actually going to toss this over to Karen. I'm going to have Karen start. Karen, I would love for you to tell our listeners a little bit about your journey into dog training. We are all dog trainers here, as just a little cliff note for everybody who's listening. Tell us about your journey, what you specialize in, things like that.
Well, I actually got into dog training through you. I had that stubborn lab, Bo, who I just couldn't get him trained. So I joined one of your classes and just loved it. So ended up getting certified and own my own business now, Karen Barlow's Dog Training. And I also own KB's K9 Playground and that. But I actually specialize in what we call good manners for dogs. I train you how to train your dog to be mannerly out in public, at home, so he doesn't jump on guests, you know, so he walks well on the leash. And my big thing is recall, coming when called. So that's what I do mostly. I'm just your bare bones basics. And that I have a couple of programs, a puppy program, a solid foundations program, and I also do private sessions in your home if you'd like. So, and the playground is for reactive dogs, or if you don't want to go to a dog park, then you can come there, rent the space, and you're there all by yourself. Don't have to worry about any other people, any other dogs. The only thing you might find is a bunny every now and again in there. So
that's always fun.
Environmental toy,
right?
Yeah. Yeah, had one happen the other day, so that's how I know the bunnies are in there.
Oh my goodness. So,
but they're all out now.
Oh, good. You got them out, or did they just find their way?
No, I got them out for them.
You got them out.
All but one.
Poor thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that playground is such an incredible resource. I mean, it's just been invaluable for so many people.
Yeah. A lot of people, I set it up today, well, the other day, so you can take fall pictures. I try to do something around each holiday. So if you can't get your dog to see Santa Claus, you can come up there and not worry about how reactive he's going to be around out in public and things like that. So it's really good for people that can't go to a dog park or go to a store to go see Santa Claus and that. So
right.
Well, there's
So that's
nothing
what
bare bones about that, Karen. Don't ever tell anybody that you're bare bones because there's nothing bare bones about that because you have, I mean, that's a huge, huge amount of people that you are offering services to.
Took the words out of my
Yeah.
mouth. Exactly. That is what so many people need is just
Absolutely.
that guidance with how do I teach my dog the skills that make my life easier and my dog's life
Yes.
easier. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the majority. So yeah, exactly, Jen. No bare bones about it. I mean, that's everyone needs it. So that's wonderful.
Yeah. Yep. So that's me in a nutshell then.
I love it. I know, and it's as we've worked through the years, it's just been it's been amazing to see your journey, and yeah, where it started, which was so fun, and Jen's similar, which just brightens my heart a little bit for with both of you. And on that note, Jen, your turn.
Take that ball.
Take that ball.
Take that ball. So big animal lover always, wanted to be a vet, but it really wasn't in the cards for me. And I think emotionally, I probably would have backed out of that a long time ago anyway. So I think what started it all for me would have to be my dog Murphy, who, as a reactive dog owner, Karen, I have to say that you having a playground that we have yet to utilize because I need to get him out there once he starts walking again. But that Santa Claus thing makes me like, I've never been able to do that with him. So
Yeah.
that would be so much fun.
Right.
Yeah, so I got him in 2014 after we lost our 15-year-old Chihuahua who needed me for so many years. And I just, even though I had my two other dogs, I was like, kind of just felt, I don't know, empty, not empty, but just like my purpose wasn't the same. And he needed me for so many things. I was like, I need to be needed. I need to do something to fulfill that. And so I said to Dave, I want to go and adopt from Act Philly. And he said, what are you drinking right now? Like we have two really manageable dogs. Let's go with it. And I said, no, it's not. That's not what we're here for. We're here to take in somebody who needs us. And he said, I really don't want a big dog. So I went and got a puppy because, I mean, it's a big dog, right?
Right.
He's now 77 pounds.
Not the start.
He's not at the start. And so, yeah, I always laugh. I went to PT that day and I came home with a puppy. Thanks to my PT tech who was like, she knew that what I was going through. And she's like, he's free to a good home. I mean, who wouldn't want to do that? Friends, let me tell you that is just a story in itself. But yeah, so we brought him home. He was 10 weeks. We were his third owner. And it started from the very beginning that he had a lot of things going on. He was absolutely 100% fearful. He was nippy. He was frankly just bitey. He was a little scary. And with having young kids, it was a question of, can I do this? And so once my husband talked me off a ledge, which normally does not happen, I think I felt overwhelmed. He's usually the one that's like, you go for it. But this time he said, what is going on with you? Like, this is not like you. I'm a challenge acceptor, like bring it on. But I wasn't sure if I was ready for this. So we went to the vet, and of course, Murphy was an angel, and the vet was just like, who we love so much. And he gave me Jamie's information. So yeah, we started, I think I called her immediately and was like sobbing the entire time on the phone. I was like, I need somebody to help me with this dog. Like he's a baby and I've never seen a puppy like this. So yeah, that started everything. So we worked with Jamie with group classes. And then when Murphy just really wasn't a team player anymore, we decided to take it to private sessions. And then I took over the private sessions at home. And I finally was thinking, I put so much time and effort into all of this learning. Why not take it out and do something with it? And it wasn't a matter at that point of if I wanted to be a trainer, it was when. And it was just, when am I going to pull the trigger and just do it? And I called my dad and I was like, listen, can you just foot the bill for now? And I really want to do this. And he said, absolutely. So yeah, that started it all by 2018. you know, that's when I met Karen, when we did our externship together. And Jamie was our amazing mentor. We were so
Mhm.
lucky that we had somebody like her
Yeah.
in the
Yes.
area, because, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
the mentors around here are very, very different in their
Mhm.
methodologies, and Jamie just fit everything. Plus, I knew her
Yeah.
and I trusted her. So, you know,
And
if
it
I
already learned so much.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, she's the one that kind of triggered all of this anyway, you know, just
Mhm.
watching her work was like watching a person dance. Yeah,
Oh,
like,
Mhm.
shut. Oh, man. That's just,
look at you, like a prima donna ballerina.
oh,
She just
Lord.
did it. Like it was perfect. So I was like, I need me some of that in my life. So, and Murphy was the perfect reason to get into that. So I had already done all the work, you know, really behind the
Mhm.
scenes. It was just a matter of making it official. So yeah, 10 years with Murphy, and 6 years
believe it.
of certification, and here we are.
Time
Yeah.
flies, right? It's been
Oh my
crazy.
Yes.
Time flies. And
Yes.
how
Yeah.
everything's evolved and whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah.
And just watching the two of you on your journeys, and it's been wonderful from that perspective, from kind of seeing you as clients and then, you know, progressing from there. So we've definitely, I can't actually, when you said when you talked about Murphy as a puppy, I just took me all the way back to when that was. Like, oh man, it's been such a long time.
Yes.
So yeah, I guess I'll take that ball then and talk about where I started. I have been a professionally training for 14 years. The Speaking Dog Training Company, as it is currently known, is celebrating its 10th anniversary this year.
Nice.
So which is fun, which is kind of neat that we're marking even that with doing something like this, which I think, you know, it's perfect timing for all this new stuff. But prior to that, you know, graduated from Penn State. I've got a business degree and all of that, but then, you know, I've always wanted to work with animals and just had to figure out how, and managed a kennel, and I was a groomer, and it just wasn't fitting the bill with exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to help dogs and people in a different way. And so went back to school and got a few of my certifications while pregnant and then while being a new mom. And my then heart dog, Joey, was my sidekick for all of that, for that journey. And, you know, just continued learning, continued going back to school, and just trying to figure out what my niche was. I specialize in, oh, and Jen, we didn't talk about what you specialize in. I specialize in fear, anxiety, stress, general reactivity, just helping dogs that struggle to navigate the human world. How do we help them? How do we help their humans? Because it's hard having a sensitive dog. It is hard living with a sensitive dog, and we all know
It
that.
is.
It is.
Mhm.
And so, you know, that is really where my passion is. I do have a passion in puppies as well, but I've really centered all my energy in the last couple of years on dogs that are really struggling, and their humans that are trying to guide them. So yeah, I'm a certified professional dog trainer. I'm a certified canine behavior consultant. I am a licensed family dog mediator, which is a new thing, which someday maybe we'll talk about. But you know, it's been a journey, and it's something that I love doing. I love helping people. I love helping dogs. You know, we've had our ups and downs, figuring out COVID, figuring out social media, figuring out, you know, what things look like post COVID. You know, everything is just always evolving, and social media. And, you know, for many of our listeners, you may not know, you know, the dog training industry is on fire in a lot of ways. You know, there's lots of internal wars going on. So, you know, how do we as professionals navigate all of this so that we can bring our best to the community? So to the people that really need it. So that's really where my focus has been for the last several years, and having the support of my friends and colleagues as well, doing the same thing, and you know, having kind of the same goals has been really wonderful. you know, even just being able to go out and brainstorm and, you know, say, guys, I've got a crazy idea. Let's see, are you on board with this? Or, you know, just venting about how business is or isn't going or whatever it happens to be. It's so nice to have that support system. And I value the both of you so much for that. Jen, please tell our listeners what you specialize in and what you're focusing on right now.
I think initially I had started with the basic manners as well, and I still do offer that, but I think my niche is fear and reactivity as well, but mostly centered around rescue. Because I've been with Greenmore Farm Animal Rescue for the last almost 8 years, and
Nice.
so I've been
Wonderful.
I know, I didn't even know they existed. I had done fostering, excuse me, fostering through Rescue Dogs Rock, and that was a very foster-based rescue. So we didn't really have a brick and mortar place to go. So knowing
That's
that
where
I
I got
could go-
Angus.
Is it?
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mhm.
And so, I mean, I had experience fostering and being around rescues and working with various people in that respect, but just having a place to go every week or as many times as I needed to during the week just to get my fill. I'm a second grade teacher by trade. So full time I teach. So I don't stop teaching. I just move into the therapeutic portion of teaching,
Right.
and I'm with dogs in the evening. I say I'm with the kids during the day, and then I'm with the dogs in the evening. And yeah, so I feel such a connection to rescues, I think, because of how much time I've spent there. And there is a lot of, or there tends to be more trauma-based training that has to go on with that, just because we don't know what their background is. And I'm sure we can talk more about that, but
Oh yeah.
that to be where my thoughts are. I love working with puppies. God, I love working with puppies. Puppies that have normal puppy behavior make
Yes.
me happy because I don't see it very often. So when people are like, I have a puppy, I'm like, I'll pay you. Like, please come and hang out like with your
Don't
puppy.
put
Does
that out there.
puppy
Someone will say, how much are you
I
going to
know,
pay
I
me
know,
to visit
right?
my puppy?
That's why I'm teaching full time. No,
I love it.
but I mean, it's such a joy. Like puppies,
Yeah.
I mean, you can't deny the fact that, and it's also kind of nice too, because you work with puppies and then they go home with their guardians and
Yes.
you're exhausted and you're like, but you know, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm in the senior range right now with
Yeah.
mine. So
Yeah.
puppies and seniors, I feel like have a lot of similarities, but
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Different but similar. Lots
Yeah.
of intense care and oversight and management and all of that and all of these things that
Mhm.
we will be talking about in future episodes, I'm sure, because it hits home for all of us. The big
Yeah.
M word of management is something that affects every aspect of what we do as professionals when we work with people.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I think that that's amazing. And oh my gosh, both of you are so heavy in rescue and it's so needed. And
Yeah.
especially, it's always been needed, but post-COVID, holy moly,
Ooh.
is it so
Amazing.
needed. And,
Yeah.
you know, I even just the sheer numbers, Karen, I think you were the one that's saying, you know, more coming in than are going out. And
Mhm.
it's just,
Mhm.
it's a hard place to probably be day in and day out, but also cup filling, I'm sure as well, like you said, Jen. So I think
Yeah,
Can
that
that's
definitely get your puppy fill.
yeah. It depends on how full we are. I mean, I'm typically dog walking and then training in between when I can. I think um prior to COVID and the few years prior to COVID, I was really more into the training because I
Mhm.
could.
yeah,
There's just a lot of things I think that have happened since COVID. I think, it's not just in the people aspect, it's the dogs. We see it.
Mhm.
The
yeah,
behaviors
Oh
have
yeah.
really come out in both kids and dogs, and there's just I mean, when you talked about how the dog training world has changed, Jamie, since I even started as a client to where we are now. But even 6 years ago, just studying how things are different, it's ever evolving, and you kind of have to ride the wave, and
yeah.
Yeah.
that you have as much information to share with people that's accurate.
Well, I see that in the hunting dog world. I've trained probably privately 5 hunting dog people and their dogs, and I believe 3 labs and 2 German short hairs, and the pointers. And yeah, around here they tend not to want to take the time to do it, in a positive reinforcement way. But if you can get the right client, they'll roll with you. And if you show them it can be done, they'll do it. So it is kind of changing around here, but hunters still like to send their dog away and have them trained and come back. But
It's how it's been done for so many years, and then when you see the beauty of marketing or social media posts, or this is how you do it, and or this is how it's always been done, or whatnot, it can be hard to change that mindset and say, well, let's try it completely differently and see if we get the same result. But yeah, as we're talking, new episode ideas come in my brain too, like, oh gosh, talk about getting information through social media and the pros and cons of that. And, for our listeners in our local community, and, where do you look for information? And so again, it's one of the reasons why I think something like this, where you've got, professionals that have been doing it for a while and continue their education, and even bring on other professionals, across the industry. It's going to be invaluable for people, and let's hope. So, but social media is tough, and post-COVID was tough, and without getting into that as a whole nother topic, the changes that we see in our dogs and ourselves and our children, it's a direct reflection of so many of those things. Even if we talk about social media and our addiction to it, that tends to leave us being more sedentary and less available for our dogs. And then we're not going outside, and our dogs are outdoor creatures. For the most part, that's what they need. They need nature therapy. And guess what? So do we. But we are so sedentary, and we work inside, and we watch TV inside, and we're doing all of these things. We're not outside the way we used to be 50, 75 years ago. And so dogs, from a species standpoint, they have to adapt to that. And that's a real quick change. And that's a struggle for some dogs, for a lot of dogs. So, and it's a struggle for our kids, and so it's really, there are a lot of deep topics that we could potentially get into here, but, without doing that today. Yes, without doing that today. Because we are trying to keep these as little snippets instead of long drawn out episodes, so that people can do little bits at a time, which I think is really nice. Little digestible pieces. I like that better for myself, right?
Yeah.
I do want us to kind of talk about some pieces of advice, some final thoughts that maybe each of us has that we'd like to impart on our listeners, as a little takeaway, and a little thank you for listening today. What is a piece of advice that you can offer our listeners that will help improve their relationship with their dog right now, or help build their dog's behaviors in a positive way right now, starting today? What's something that you could advise them to do? I will let either of you decide who wants to start first.
Go ahead, Jen. I went first earlier.
We're sharing it.
That's fine. I got it. It's all good. Please. I was put out in the hallway for talking too much in kindergarten. I just told my students that yesterday. I probably should never have shared that information.
Oh, I love that.
I don't mind talking. I think for today, what I like to always tell my clients is make sure that you're having fun when you're working with your dog.
Oh, I love that.
Yes.
And because when it becomes a chore, you don't want to do it. It comes
Neither
through
does
in
the
way
dog.
that, yeah, right, exactly.
Mhm.
And then that's where you start to see the regression. That's where you start to see a change in the behavior between the two of you. Murphy and I have an amazing relationship because of training, because I got to know him so well. And so keep your training sessions short and sweet. It
Yep.
should be as many times throughout the day as you can, but it shouldn't be. I think people look at training as I need to dedicate, a solid 30 straight minutes or 60 straight minutes. And they put these numbers in there and they think, that's what it has to be. Because when we meet with people, we're there for anywhere from 30 to 60 minutes, or you're on Zoom, and it's typically what a session would run.
Right.
And that's not what it's like on the daily. That's not daily living,
Yeah.
and that's not daily
Mhm.
expectation. So, give yourself some grace, give your dog some grace, but
Mhm.
do it and have fun so that you want to keep it up, and then your dog can show you what he or she can do.
Think about think about the ability to remember that, your ability to remember what just happened and retain that information. When you're having fun with something, you're going to
Yes.
retain that information and want to come back to that later so much more readily than if it's a chore or if you just had
Mhm.
such a negative experience with it. I love that. And yeah, the small little snippets, we live in a 3-second world where if you don't capture our
Yeah.
attention in 3 seconds, then you only keep it for 15 and then it's gone.
Done. You
You
would
know?
think dogs are on social media and
Oh,
need screen time with the amount of time that they need to really take things in, and
yeah.
sometimes they have the attention span of a flea,
Yeah.
and kind of have to go with that. But yeah,
One
it should
quality
not be.
repetition is so much better than
Yeah.
5, mundane, tedious repetitions. So
Building on that, I tell my clients to incorporate it into their daily life. You're going to ask your dog to sit usually anyway when you're feeding them. Out on walks, just ask for a random sit, a random focus, things like that. I do most of my training on walks. A
honestly,
lot of recall training.
you ask me to exercise and find 30 minutes in a day to exercise, I'm not gonna be able to do that. But if you tell me every time I need to go to the bathroom, I need to do, 5 jumping jacks first, that's more, but maybe
Mhm.
that's more doable, maybe
Well,
not
you're
jumping
already
jacks.
squatting, so go ahead.
That's
Yeah,
funny, right?
yeah, yeah,
Exactly. Incorporate more organic and kind of incorporating it. Yeah, I love
yeah.
that. It's so much
Mhm.
more doable when you do it that way. I
It
mean,
is.
teaching a wait at the door, you're going to take your dog out 10 times a day anyway,
Yeah,
let's just,
yeah.
unless they really have to go to the bathroom, let's practice a quick little wait.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
I guess to piggyback off that one, then, a takeaway for, from the kind of learning and skill building perspective would be capture behaviors. And what that means for our listeners is your dog is undoubtedly they make choices 1,000 times a day. And most of those choices are actually choices we probably like. And
Mhm.
we don't tend to focus on those. We focus on the things we don't like. No, don't do that. No, don't do that. Give me that. No, stop doing that. No, you can't go in there. If you start focusing on all of those little choices that your dog makes that you want them to make again, and you say, yes, good choice. And you pay them with food, with affection, with play, with getting to go out somewhere, with anything that they enjoy, they're going to say, wow, every time I lay down, instead of try to jump up on the table to get, that snack that mom's eating, she gives me something delicious. I think I'm going to start laying down more often. We don't have to teach our dogs everything. If we can just focus on the things they are organically doing on their own and we pay them for those choices, that leaps and bounds will have huge impacts on your dog's behavior. Karen, I think it was you and we talked about how, the last time we actually taught our dogs to do something in the traditional sense versus capturing behaviors.
Mhm.
You just do that when you're in that mindset. We do it so seamlessly and organically.
Yep.
It's like, wow, I actually didn't have to teach you to walk on a loose leash. It just
Mhm.
happened.
Well, except for jumping with Peanut, who I had my mom help me because he just jumped and jumped and jumped. So I had to actually work on that. Everything else I've practically captured with him.
Yeah.
And building on that, my big thing is recall,
Yeah.
coming when called. So I tell people, every time your dog comes to you, give them some kind of affection or, ear scratches, belly rubs, piece of cheese,
Yeah.
it's make them want to come to you. That
Yeah.
helps build a good recall.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
The power of yes.
Oh, I
yeah,
love that. Yes. the
exactly.
power of yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's like one of the first videos I think I ever made as a trainer, was
I love
because
that.
everybody always says no. Like you said, Jamie, they always focus on that.
Yep.
They can do this
Negatives.
and they can do this and they can do this. And I'm writing things down. I'm like, wow, that's amazing. But they can't do this. And it was like, okay, let's work on that. Look at this repertoire of things that your dog can do.
Mhm.
How amazing is that? So why do you think they continue to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it really opens their eyes, and they're like, yeah, I always ask, how many times do you say no in a day?
Right.
And,
Oh my gosh.
and people are like, they don't even, it's almost, I'm like, I'm not trying to get you, but isn't it easy? Doesn't it just come out?
Yep.
No, don't do that. And it's even in the kid world. We made a poster of things, of rules. We don't even call them rules. It's just called what we do. So
Mhm.
I always tell the kids, I said to them at the beginning of every year, I say, how many times do you hear don't do this, or no, you can't do that, or stop?
Yep.
And they're like, oh, all the time.
Stop.
And I said, so
Mhm.
we're going to make a list of things that we just do.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, okay. So in school, don't talk when the teacher's talking. I said, so then what should you do? Oh, listen.
Right.
And it's so hard. And they're 7 and 8-year-olds, to
Yeah.
reframe their minds, like to help them kind of go back and stop and think. They're 7 and 8. So
Yeah.
we're working with adults. I mean,
Yeah.
they've been doing this their whole lives. It's understandable how hard it can be.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's also hard for people to train the dog in front of them.
Yes.
They often talk about the dog they had prior who was perfect, which
Yeah.
is why you get another one. So,
The MLD syndrome, my last dog.
yes, yeah, yeah. And I'm like, but you have to train the one in front of you.
Yeah.
Work with the dog you have now.
Right.
Put that out of your mind. So
Right.
work with the dog you have now.
And they've got superpowers too, and we just have to see
Yes,
that.
they
And
all do.
yeah,
Yep,
I
they all
love
do.
that. Jen, to build off of that, the power of yes, I have my clients a lot, portion out like 30 to 50 treats a day, and I say use them every day. Portion out 50 every day and find a reason to give your dog a reinforcement, or give them, pay them for something, so that it really trains our brain to be more observant in that positive manner than in the no, don't do that, no, don't do that stuff. Because boy, are there a million things our dogs could do that we don't want them to. We have to highlight the things that our dogs do, so that it makes it more probable that they're going to want to do them again in the future.
They form muscle memory just like us.
100%.
The learning is not that different.
No, it's not.
They're all animals.
If you told me that you would bring me cheesecake if I laid on the couch and was quiet or did something that you hello,
it's happening.
That's my payment, I mean.
Now, can I just, no, this is for another episode, but if you told me I would get cheesecake for laying on the couch, I would say, because I don't like cheesecake. But I need
like everyone else in my family. Yep.
Everybody's different. Your dog is different.
Yes.
Just because one likes one thing or just because you like petting your dog doesn't mean your dog wants that as a reinforcer. So that is for another episode. But
absolutely,
I love that.
Definitely.
I love that. Oh my gosh, this was so much fun. I think we could keep on talking and talking if I just didn't look at the clock. I know, right? I think that this was just so much fun. I'm looking forward to doing it again.
I agree.
I think I'm going to post this. I'm going to put this out to our listeners to comment on this video, or send us a message. I'll put our websites and our email addresses in the description with this video as well. So you can reach out to us. You can check out our websites. You can check out Karen's Playground. If you didn't know about it, take a look and go have a blast. It is an amazing resource in this area. And then let us know if there is a topic you'd like us to talk about, or if there's something that you'd like to learn more about, and we'd be happy to add it to the list. But for now, for the purposes of trying to keep to time and trying to keep this a little bit shorter, I just want to thank you all for coming and for listening to us for a little bit and getting to know us. Do you guys have any parting words you'd like to give to our listeners?
Remember to have fun.
I love that.
I agree. I love that whole love the dog in front of you. That's
Yeah.
My sweatshirt says that.
I love
Oh,
that.
nice.
Love the dog that's in front of you. That was a gift
Yes.
from my daughter. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Yeah,
Yep.
and I think we're all really, I'll speak for all of us that I think we're all really looking forward to what this new little journey might kind of where it might lead us. And again, getting to know our listeners, we will see how these events go and the formats that we use to even do these things. We might do live events with people who can log on and come with us and share in real time questions and perspectives and whatnot. But in the meantime, thank you guys so much for listening. We look forward to having you listen to our next episodes in the future. And in the meantime, tell your dog we said hi. All right, we'll see you guys later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.